All right, here you go, Mike. I apologize for the delay. So this is the 520 controller. You can see it looks different. It's got an LCD screen. It's got the power plug just like before, communications cable to the printer. And the difference here is the printer is not electrical, so we have pneumatic lines hooked up that are draped over here, and they come in to the air regulators. You got a return line and an out line, and I got them hooked up to my air compressor here in my garage. So the electrical is important because we got to control this, and the air actually drives the pin now. Drives the pin in the print head, where before it was an electrical. There's a flip switch on back, just like with the other one. With this one now, I actually have a mouse hooked up. Okay, now we're loaded. It takes, I didn't time it, but roughly about a minute for these TMC520s to start. They are Windows based, so you can see the interface is much different than that on the 470. You got a full LCD display here. With the mouse, you can see my cursor. These are touchscreen. You can select these with your finger. What's nice about with the mouse is not only is it easier to get your fat fingers in there, but when you hover the mouse over, it tells you what these are. So like that's text tools, graphic tools, command tools, and so on. So it helps you get through the system. If we want to show you a quick demo here, just to get us moving, we can start a new file here. So we're going to go new. We want to write in text. So now this has all the same features of the 470. It's just in a different layout. It's also much easier to use because you get a preview of what you're doing, which you'll see here. So we're going to select text. There's where we can do the art text like we were doing on the other printer. Here's just straight up text. And your 2D codes and stuff, if you want to get into those. So the text here, see, it gives you, this is your print field. Like before on the handheld, you could visually see the print field in the base of the machine. This one is more wide open, but its limitations are to where it can move on here, which isn't as obvious when you're looking from the top down. So this gives you a preview of how that's going to print. And again, your height on these is actually set too, so you can loosen these here. And this tool post, so if you hear the term tool post, that's what this is. You crank this and you can see your pin is raising, lowering. So you're just gonna set this height to about an 1/8 inch, 1/4 inch off your material, and you should be good to go. It doesn't have to be exact. So before we actually print, let's modify this. We'll get it to say, we'll go, I'm using the mouse now, I can use my fingers just to show you. We'll go, hello, Mike. There's 10 characters for you, including the space. So again now, just like on the 470, you set your XY axis where you start. So if you want to start in your upper left corner, we're going to do 0, 1 1/2. So this one's window where the handheld was a 1x4 frame. The TMP1700, which is what this is, has a 2.5 by 1.5 frame. So the X is 2.5, the Y is 1.5. You go into different models like the 3200, that window gets bigger. You can go into other models where it gets even bigger. So there's ways to overcome if the window size isn't big enough. So we got text here. We'll just start it at 0 and 1.5, that's fine. We can go over to our font now. Here's where you're gonna set your height of your characters, your width. So again, here's your 1/8 inch height that you want. Here's your font where we're doing how many dots per square inch. So you got your 5x7, 11x16. We'll just keep it on the 5x7. But it's all the same stuff, it's just in a different layout on here. So there's not much more new here, it's just seeing the differences. So we can go ahead and we can save this. Just hit your green arrow here. And now it says hello Mike. And that's where it shows it in the print field. If we were to go back in and we were to say, let's move this to, let's go 0.5 on the X, and we'll start it at 0.5 on the Y as well. That was -5, we went 0.5. This is hard to do and record. 0.5, oops. 0, let's do a 0.5, okay. Then we're gonna do a 0.5 here. Just change this 1 to a 0. We'll save it. You'll see here, it gives you a preview, it moves it where it's gonna print. Now better yet here, since you don't have that physical field down here to know where this relates to, it's got a really cool feature here. So if you go into here, and this one here is machine, this icon, you click this, you can go down into the machine tools, and there's one called park. It's gonna go to the park position, which it should already be in, I believe. Yep, so it's not gonna move. But there's another one called pre-position. You hit this, and that is that starting point of that text. So let's go pre-position, and it'll move you to that point. So I'm printing on the back of this Dell steel sheet here. It's good for samples, but yeah, so, and then if we want to print this, we can go ahead and hit go. So the difference with this now, instead of holding the printer, you're holding your material. The printer is on a stand and it's not moving. So let's give this a try here. Right down. So I'm sure there's better ways of doing this, but I mean, if we really want to avoid things moving, I'm gonna go ahead and throw a C-clamp on here so I don't have to try and hold it and clamp it at the same time and run my phone and everything at the same time. This is usually a lot easier when you're not trying to record. You just hold the material and hit go. But in case you're wondering, we're in my garage. I made a nice display room in here. So yeah, so now I can hold my phone and show you here. So we're gonna go ahead and reprint this again. Again, if I hit that pre-position, it's gonna put us in place where we'd start printing. And I can go ahead on here just to show you what I did. And there's a go here. You can run a dry run, stop. So we're just gonna hit go. And this should. There it is. As you can see, hello Mike. Some other fun features if you wanted to look at this. Let's do this. I'm gonna move these icons, and you got to remember you pick your type of text here. You can go to graphics. You pick your type of graphic. So let's try a circle. We can put this circle around your name if we wanted. So if we put the center of it. So yeah, just kind of some different features. We can add, we'll add some more text just to show you what it can do. Just gonna play a little bit here. Let's throw the arc text in there. Okay, we got those variables in. Let's make this just a little bit taller so it's over our text. Okay, and there we go. Now we got testing, writing up here with the circle, just a whole mess of stuff. And so what's cool here is all your, anyway, all the things that you add line up on the side here. So you can see them, you can edit them all individually. You can name these. So like this arc text, we could rename it and say, let's double click on it. We can call this, Let's see the name. There it is. So we can just call this Mike's Arc, we'll call it. Just to show you, just to prove the theory to you here. So yeah, now the arc tag's called Mike's Arc. So you can keep track of these over time. And then you can go back and you can call these pre-made texts and just simply drop them in to your field here. Let's go ahead and try and print this one now. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and print this. I will admit, if you're doing a whole bunch of stuff and you're not just doing your single like 10 character line or whatever you want to do, this machine is the way to go physically. The handheld printer is hard to hold still if you're printing too many characters. You just lose it. I don't know how to explain it, but I tried it. I tried writing, I don't know if I have any samples on here. I do on other things. But you can, I tried writing out multiple lines, and it's really hard to hold for that long on the handheld. If they're single line things, it's not bad. But let's try printing this whole mess of stuff we made here. So we're gonna go hit the go button. There we go. Loosen this up here. So now, as you can see, we have a print that replicates exactly what's on the screen. And that's what's really cool about the 520 is you get to preview what you're gonna see. Where the 470 just gives you that you get to enter in all the variables. You get to enter in where this text is gonna start and stop, but you don't actually get to see it. You got to imagine it. And that's where this 520 really is beneficial. Add before I send this off to you is, you've probably seen the finger keyboard. I wanted to add that there are multiple USB ports back here. You can actually add a keyboard to this one, so you can type with a keyboard. Not that it's that big of a deal. I mean, you're punching in a few letters. It's not at the end of the world, but just wanted to let you know that. If you wanted to see how you save on this one, there's the file folder up here. You can hit file, and then there should be a save as here. So save as, we can save this. And just to step aside for a second, one of the benefits of the 520 as well is this controller works with all of the pin stamp equipment out of the box. You can simply select which machine you're using. As you can see here, I have different files saved for different printers, where with the 470, to change the printers, you have to completely upload a new software. It'll work with all the printers, but you have to download the file, put it on a USB drive, plug it into the USB, and then upload it and reboot the system to switch printers, which if you're switching printers, it's probably not that big of a deal, and it's probably not something you'll really ever do, but I'm just sharing it. So anyway, that's why I have different file folders here. So if we go down to using this one, so I'm going to save it to this folder. So here's some I've already saved. I can save this one, Mike's demo, let's get rid of the untitled. Mike's demo, save. All right, we're saved. So yeah.